Attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hey everybody, how's it going? My name is Steve Richards, and right now you are in the webinar. And the webinar this month from us is going to be 10 ways to take more ownership in your career. So again, thanks for joining us. I'm Steve Richards. We got Mike Rudd along with us, and I'll do an introduction. He's going to take over the presentation part essentially. But tonight we're going to learn about creating your own destiny and accomplishing what you want in life, which is exactly what a lot of us want to do. So this will be a fun webinar, and you'll get a lot of good nuggets out of this webinar for sure. And I'm excited to get going. Before we get started, I just want to make sure everything's working. So if you guys could put your name and where you're from into that question box, that way I know you can hear what I'm saying, and I'll also know that the question box works. So go ahead and throw it into that chat box, into the question box, and I'll be able to see that everybody's hearing me and I can see where people are from. It looks like we got Samir from Toronto, Gustavo from Miami, Steve from Australia. That's a bit of a time difference. I appreciate you for joining us, Steve.
Yeah,
Mark,
what's Steve? Type in what's the time difference there right now? We're 16 hours down there, I think.
yeah, where are you, Steve? What time you got right now? Um, we got Mark in New Jersey, Courtney in Santa Monica, Cecilia in LA, which is not far from Santa Monica. David from Elmwood. We got Steve's at 10 a.m. So he's
Oh,
I think
oh,
he's
it's
in the
perfect.
future. So
He's having a Danish and a cup of coffee.
yeah, and learning how to change his life. So good for you, Steve. Thanks for joining us. We appreciate that. So yeah, it looks like we can hear us okay, and we can go ahead and start. We got another one from Australia, actually. Luciane. I botched that name, but they're from Sydney. Um, from Toronto, Chicago, Cleveland. We got all sorts. So we appreciate everybody for joining us. I'm glad everybody can hear us and we can go ahead and get started. And I want to tell you real quick that we will be providing a replay. We're never really sure. Sometimes the recording equipment works, sometimes it doesn't. But as long as the recording equipment works, I remembered to hit the record button this time around. So we will be providing a replay as long as our record works. And please, that box that you just used to tell me where you're from, don't be afraid to ask any question throughout the entire webinar. We're going to do our best to answer every single question throughout the entire webinar. I'm going to be monitoring the chat box and the question box, and I'll be saving the good ones, and we'll be asking them all at the end, after the presentation and after we make our special offer for our membership site at the end. So we'll answer questions right at the end for sure. Like I said, I'll do a little bit of these introductions here. My name's Steve Richards. I'm currently the COO of Sports Networker and the Sports Executives Association, which is our membership site at Sports Networker. I started as an intern, and then I took ownership and got noticed and moved up the ladder to where I am today. I'm currently, like I said, the COO. So started from the bottom and moved up to where I am now. I also do work as a podcast host about fantasy football and run my own personal blog at stephenrichards.net. So that's a little bit of my story of creating my own destiny and working towards accomplishing what I want in my life as a sports journalist. So that's where I am. Our presenter, Mike Rudd, he knows exactly what it takes to take ownership of his career and his life as well. He created 10 ways of how he's done it, and now he's going to share how you can do it as well, which is definitely exciting for anybody who's joining us tonight. And I'm excited to hear those ways as well. He created his own destiny in college. He sold hot dogs to pay his way through college, and he learned sales that way, and he's owned it ever since. And he's created incredible amounts of billables throughout his career, and he's successful at what he does, and he knows how to do it. So I'm excited to hear how he does it. And without further ado, let's start to hear how he does it. And I'll hand it over to you, Mike, and go ahead and take us away here.
Steve, thank you, sir. Appreciate the introduction.
Yeah, man.
Want to say thank you to everybody who's tuning in tonight and this morning, depending on your time zone. And
Yeah.
let's just jump in. We're going to do tonight 10 ways to take more ownership in your career. And the reason I want to talk about this topic tonight, to be quite honest with you, is too often we feel there's so many outside circumstances pulling us away or telling us we can't do something. But if we really, really sit down and say, you know what? I'm going to own it. I'm going to own what I do each and every day. I'm not going to let others tell me what I can or can't do, and I'm just going to take complete ownership of both my career and my life. Then if that's your mindset, you can do anything you want in this world. And that's the bottom line. So once again, I am Marketing Fun with Mike, aka Mike Rudd, and I am a author, a speaker, a sports marketing specialist, and a hot dog extraordinaire. I can be found at marketingfunwithmike.com. And let's get started right now on 10 ways to take more ownership on your career. Like I said, it's time to own it, because sometimes you have to look in the mirror and say, okay, this is a breaking point. This is a time where we can either sink or swim, and we have to choose to swim. And when we choose to swim, and choose to swim really far and ridiculously fast, it's about taking ownership and feeling like you're in control and you're not going to let somebody else take away the reins from you. It's a challenge, though. It's not very easy to do that, because you have to have this mindset that people are going to try to pull you out from different directions. People are going to try to tell you, you better just stay at that job, or you better just live life like this. Go live in this neighborhood, rent this car, go on this vacation, hang out at this place, read this book over and over and over again. But when you choose to own it, you realize that there is a better life. There is more opportunity out there. But you have to understand the responsibility that comes with it. There's going to be times when you're going to question yourself. There's going to be times when you're going to be a little unsure, when you're going to be jumping into murky waters a little bit. But you have to know that there's so many opportunities and rewards if you're willing to take that ownership. And realistically, you can accomplish anything you want in life if you do that. It starts with owning your career. It starts with saying, I'm going to do what I want to do. I'm going to do something that I believe in, and I'm going to do something to help benefit the world. And then from that, you're going to say, I'm going to own my life too. It's going to be like that 24/7, and I'm not going to be held down from it. So the question is, if you decide this, if you say, you know what, yeah, ownership, that's what I want to do. I'm going to own my life. I'm going to own my career. What's in it for you? First off, you're going to know that you're doing everything possible to live the life you want and deserve. And too often, we don't live the lives we want and the lives that we deserve. Because everybody deserves in this world a great chance at achieving their dreams and doing great things. And too often, we settle for something below that. And we're like, maybe this time, or maybe in a few years, and then the next thing you know, you're 60. No more of that. For the people in the SEA and the sports networker world, it's finding that career and landing that dream job in sports and not making it some kind of pipe dream anymore. It's not, well, this would be pretty cool if it worked out. No, it's, I'm taking ownership of this, and I'm going to do it, and I'm going to find a way to get it done. If you do this, if you take the ownership, there's going to be a much higher likelihood that you're doing something you believe in. And I can't think of a better way to spend your day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out, than doing something that you actually care about and something you actually believe in. I've been doing this for 15 years now, doing something that I really believe in and something that I will really advocate. And I couldn't imagine having to be any other way anymore. I couldn't imagine just going through the motions just to collect a paycheck anymore. You got to feel good about what you're doing. And when you take ownership of it, you do feel good because you're doing stuff, once again, that you believe in, and you're living the life that you want and deserve. And you're not making it some pie-in-the-sky pipe dream to land that dream job in sports. You're actually going out and taking ownership and trying to do it. And finally, it's going to help you be more confident to land this type of job. It's going to help give you the tools and the mindset that, all right, this can be done. I can definitely do this. And that is why we want to take ownership. Question I want to ask you guys is, how deep are you willing to dig? That's Mammoth Cave National Park right there. That is a bottomless pit as far as I could see down from the photo I took at it.
No kidding.
But that's what you have to kind of think is, am I willing to go down there? Am I willing to dig that deep to have the life that I want and to land that job that I want to have? Because when we take ownership of our lives and our career search, it has to begin with us being ourselves and doing something that we believe in and having the mindset that, yes, we will achieve. So number one, in our 10 ways, you have to start off with having a remarkable level of taking care of who you serve. Whatever that industry is, sports in this specific situation, whatever department you're in, both your employees, your coworkers, your family, your friends, the clients that you're trying to serve, you have to do a remarkable job at taking care of them. And you have to do that no matter if you woke up on the wrong side of the bed, if it was a thunderstorm and you were an hour late for work, if something in your outside life is causing you to not be in a great mood, you have to move past that. And whoever you're serving in your career and in your job search at sometimes, you have to be remarkable and serve every single person as though it is the greatest day of your life and they're the greatest thing that has ever happened to you. If you can start doing that, you start to open more doors, you start to meet new people, and you start to have opportunities come to you that you never really thought could happen or could exist. Number two, when you take ownership of your life and your career, you decide that you're going to have a true passion for what you do and you believe in what you represent. I know it's very cliche for us to all say, you got to be passionate about what you do. But if you don't do something that you believe in or you care about, what are you doing? What are you thinking about? What makes you motivated in the morning to get out of bed and actually go do it? And the more you can actually believe that, yes, what I'm doing has a betterment for myself, for those around me, and for those in the world, the better off you're going to be, and the more you're going to say, you know what, I can do this. I can take ownership of this because, geez, I'm passionate about this, and I really believe in what I'm representing right now. Number three, you need to have an overflowing funnel of ideas and opportunities to help others own what you have to offer. Whether it's a product, whether it's a career, whether it's a mindset, you have to have so many different ideas and ways to help others around you own what you're offering. For instance, in my position as a sports marketing person at a radio station, we can't just sell radio ads. We have to have, I came up with a golf outing that gives back to the Diabetes Fund. I came up with a free youth basketball camp to help better our community and target our inner city and giving them, the kids, a day that some of them unfortunately cannot afford. We came up with the 97-day Get Fit Challenge, which is helping 6 people transform their lives, a la Biggest Loser contest from the TV show. We've come up with sponsorship opportunities inside Ohio State football, the Columbus Blue Jackets, and Ohio State basketball. We own what we are, and we own and believe in what we're doing. And we have so many different ideas and opportunities when we go talk to our clients. We have a genuine passion for what we can help them with. And there's literally nothing that we can't figure out and come to a solution for our clients. And that's what you have to have, no matter what you're doing. If you're a sports agent, if you're an accountant, if you're doing sponsorship sales, if you're running your own business, if you're doing ticket sales for a sports team, the more ideas and ways that you can help others tap into what you are taking ownership of, the more you will thrive and not just survive in the sports world. Number 4, you have to be all in. And actually, I jumped ahead a little bit. This is not number 4, but this is one of my favorite quotes. It's from my podcast. Ron Freeman, who is the franchise owner of Tom and Chi, which is a tomato and grilled cheese shop. They were on Shark Tank, and they were funded, and he is one of the owners on it. And he just said to me over and over again when I was interviewing him, you have to be all in. Because owning your career and life is like owning a business. He is all in Tom and Chi. And whatever you do, you have to take that same ownership. Even if you're an employee for a place, even if you're just looking for a job, you have to take ownership of that like you own that business. And if you're a business owner and you don't go in and start doing the work that you know needs to be done to make you money, your business will stop making money. Point blank. Nothing just continues out of the fact that it is just out there. Get all in. Which leads us to number 4, a love of continued education both personally and professionally. When you take ownership of something, you realize that there's always something new to learn, and you can always do more and find more ways to get better at everything you're doing. Not just professionally, but also personally. And it's a never-ending, uphill, yet totally fun climb that you have to take in your life. Number 5, one word, positivity. Know that everything's going to work out in the end. Know that you're going to be successful. Know that you're doing something that while others may find a little strange, that you're trying to chase down your dreams, you really have a path that you're taking and you know is the right path. Know that when something does go off that path, that being positive is the only way you're going to get through it. Buying into the drama, buying into the gossip, the water cooler talk, it's not going to get you anywhere. Negativity grinds people down, and all you want to do is rise up above that. Number 6, you have to embrace leadership. When the time calls for you to be a leader, you have to own it, just like you're owning your career search, your business, your job, your company. Take that by the hands and run with it. You also have to realize there's going to be great opportunities for you to be a great teammate. There's going to be great chances for you to step up to the plate in a non-leadership way and groom the team, help the team become better as a whole, and take that in stride and develop both your leadership skills and your skills as a teammate. In basketball, look at the San Antonio Spurs. If everybody just would have been shooting every single time, not thriving off of being teammates, they would not be the NBA champions. So let's wrap up right now on our 10 steps with the final 4. Number 7, an ability to transform. Know that not everything is meant to be forever. Know that not everything you start doing doesn't have a path where you might transform to get better at what you do or change a little bit about what you're doing to take better ownership and to better help your life and the life of those around you. I realized that over the years that it doesn't have to be all or nothing all the time. And you really don't, just because you get involved in something doesn't mean that you can't transform your way out of it or transform yourself within what you're already doing. It's not this way or the highway anymore. You can transform and you can improve without it going away and falling by the wayside. Number 8, no complacency. It's as standard and straightforward as it sounds. You have to be hungry, you have to keep going, and you have to have a complete lack of complacency. No matter where you get, no matter what you've accomplished, you can, of course, look in the rearview mirror to enjoy and relish it, but it can't change your hunger. It can't change your game. It can't change you resting on your laurels and looking at your past and celebrating it for years on end. Be hungry and always work towards something more. Number 9 is a lack of egos. The more we can be kind, compassionate, and grateful for this wonderful gift of being able to do something that we want to do, and the more we can realize that having no ego is the key to our success, the more successful we can be. You just have to stop looking towards people who pound their chest, talk about how wonderful they are, and start thinking about, what can I do to help those that I serve? And if I serve these people as best to my ability, how much greatness can I help others achieve? And when you think about that, you will achieve greatness in your life when you have a mindset like that. And number 10, something I always go back to, find your personal brand. A personal brand is a story that sets you apart from every other person in this world. There is something different and unique about you, and something that you do in a wonderful way that nobody else can do. What is it? Decide what it is, start building it, and then take ownership of it. For myself, it was selling 75,000 hot dogs and being able to pay my way through school for that, and having the mindset at the age of 19 that I was never going to work in a job that I didn't love. And that story has been enabled me to build Marketing Fun with Mike. For Lewis Howes, it was getting hurt as a professional athlete and going down. And then where did he rise when that's all he knew in his life? For Trevor Turnbull, who was the COO here before Steve, it was, I know how to help people more on LinkedIn and help strategies with them better than anybody else in this world. We all have stories. Steve has his, I have mine, and all of you have yours. What is it? Take ownership of that and start building value around it. So if you do these 10 steps and start taking this ownership by being yourself, what is it going to do? It's going to give yourself the chance to actually land that dream job, like we said, instead of making it a pipe dream. You're going to stop thinking in hypotheticals and start creating realities. You're going to start making action steps behind what you want to do, what you want to accomplish, and how you're going to get there, and start taking action towards actually doing them. You'll have less talk and you'll have more action. The fluff is going to go away, and you're going to have more opportunities to live the life you want to deserve. And when you really think about it, it starts and ends with you making that mindset switch that I'm going to take ownership of my situation. I'm going to take ownership of what I do, and I'm going to start getting after what I want to do. So where do you guys go from here? Let's start working on these 10 steps to find that sports dream job. Don't put it on the back burner. Don't wait till tomorrow. Don't wait till next Monday. Because when you do, you're going to be able to make more money, you're going to have more fun, and you're going to help others more than you ever have before in your career. And that's really all that matters in life. If you can make enough money that you can live the life you want, if you can have fun and smile each and every day, and you can offer benefit and value to others all day long, you'll succeed in whatever you want to do in life. So it's time to own your life and put ownership into your legacy here on this planet. What do you want to accomplish on this planet? The more you can take ownership of it, the more you'll succeed. And I think we can end with, it's time to start walking the walk instead of talking the talk.
Yeah, and Mike, one of the things that sticks out to me is that, I mean, at least generally, I would think that people doing things that they like means that they're good at it. Like, people tend to like things that they're good at. So, I mean, it's kind of like you're saying, don't put it on the back burner, and the life is now type of stuff where as long as you just put your mind to it, if it's something that you like, you're more than likely going to be good at it. So I would think that just going for it is one of the best pieces of advice that you've given here.
Thank you. Yeah, I think that's what it is. That's what it's all about. And I know it's easy to say, but hopefully, my idea is by coming up with actual ways in which you can do that, then you can actually go and do it instead of just thinking of those hypotheticals.
Oh, absolutely. And this action plan that you've given is exactly what's going to put people ahead, I would think.
So, well, I'm going to turn it back over to Steve now. We're going to do some question and answers here in a couple minutes. And Steve, I think you want to kind of take us through what the SCA is and kind of update everybody who may already be in it.
Yeah.
What's going on in it and what they can do. If you want to take the screen back over and we can rock out.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm gonna take the screen back like you said. And yeah, feel free while I'm going over this stuff. Please ask questions in that chat box so that, like Mike said, we're going to be answering a bunch of questions and going through any questions that you might have. So while I'm going over this, please put your questions in that chat box, and I'll be monitoring them all the way through, and we can get all your questions answered as well. But for right now, what I'm going to do is talk about the Sports Executives Association, which is our membership program at Sports Networker. We have it for a really low price for the webinar. I'm excited to offer that to you guys. So, and we're going to talk about what's inside here. You can see that we have the core trainings and the webinars and the interviews and the bonus material that you can download. One of the main things is this webinar archive that we have going on. We have this working. We do a lot of webinars with Mike. We've been doing those once a month. And we've also, I'm going to look into the past archives and see if I can't either republish a bunch of stuff, or maybe I'll even find some stuff that we've done from the past, because all of our information is obviously valuable and pertinent. We've had Mike mentioned Trevor's name and Lewis's name. We've obviously had those two guys doing webinars for us in the past as well. So if I can find some content from them in the past, then I'm definitely going to be republishing that and resurfacing that, and all that goes right into our webinar archives that you can find only if you are a member and if you log in as a member into the site. And then we also have, like I mentioned, these bonus materials. This is a bunch of PDFs that we have. You can see Mike's book is right here, right at the top. We have a book from Eric Simpson talking about the mental side of things, and not only sports but finding a job in sports. This is what Lewis essentially made his bones on, is this 3X personal connection formula. This is how you meet people, not only in the world but on LinkedIn, which obviously has an untapped potential pretty much. There's a ton of people out there on LinkedIn, and there's a really simple way to meet the higher ups in the LinkedIn world, and Lewis has created a book to do that, and this is obviously still very pertinent and an awesome way to meet people on LinkedIn. Then we have these step 4, I believe it was, of Mike's ebook, was talking about how people were meeting, or how people to make yourself stick out and owning your story and acing an interview and writing a winning resume and a winning cover letter and having this advice from the pros. These are all ebooks that we created, and these are all ways to make yourself stand out, and ways to really help you not only find a job in sports but own your career and do what you love for a living. So that's really a big part of this membership site, is this free, all of these, not free, if you're in the membership site, it's free. All these downloadable PDFs that you can get and check out and find all this personal and professional reading that you're always learning that way. That was step 4, I believe, of Mike's 10 steps, is finding ways to always educate yourself. And this is definitely a way to do that in our downloadable bonuses. And then maybe the most important part of the SEA is this LinkedIn and Facebook members-only groups. These are all networking groups. Everybody that we've had live Q&As with, people like Tiki Barber and the former GM of the Denver Broncos, they're all in here, and they have plenty of advice for you as an SEA members-only group. It's a limited number of people, and once you sign up for the SEA, all you have to do is ask to apply. I know we had a new member sign up today and asked to apply, and we're going to get him into the Facebook group. And there's also a LinkedIn group, which is just as exclusive. So these are great ways to network with people that are in here, whether you're somebody that's looking for a job or somebody that's looking to hire someone. Both of those types of people are rampant in our members-only Facebook groups and LinkedIn groups. And that's just some of the stuff that we can offer. You can see across the top here. We also have partner deals, affiliate deals, and even a member survey. So whenever you guys want to see something in a live Q&A or in the next webinar topic, we always love to listen to our members and hear what they have to say. So there's a ton of stuff in here, and you can definitely pays for itself monthly. There's no doubt about that in my mind. As long as you get in here and use it, it's the one of the best ways to be able to own your story and get noticed and find your job in sports. So that's my pitch for our membership program. Let's get back to answering some questions. And you have something that you want to offer as well, Mike, I think.
Yeah, if you want to turn it back over to me, I'll
absolutely.
Show my screen. And just so everybody knows, you can go to sportsexec.net/deal to sign up tonight.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's $9.97 for the first 30 days, and it's $27 a month after that. You can cancel anytime. Honestly, it's what I say every single month when I talk to the people out there. My webinars that Steve and I do outside of this cost more than $27 a month. So the value's there, plus everything that Steve just talked about. I'm also going to I'll do a 1-hour Skype consulting session on helping you build that personal brand, on helping you figure out what that story is and what you want to do with it. So if you sign up tonight and you join the SCA, all you have to do is email me. My email is right there, Mike@marketingfunwithmike.com. Steve, I think you'll also get an email when somebody signs up.
For sure.
I'm correct. And Steve can also let me know. But email me, and we'll schedule a time over the next week or two to jump on Skype and give you some ideas to really start taking ownership and start figuring out what is that sets me apart, and how am I going to put it into action, and what am I going to do with it. So that's what I have. So the site's right there. It's sportsexec.net/deal. You can sign up tonight, and we'll leave this up there. Steve, you want to jump in and do some Q&As?
Yeah, absolutely. Right now we only have one question. So please feel free to throw your questions in that chat box about taking ownership and marketing and all the things that Mike would be able to answer for you, and we'll get them answered up.
And beyond ownership, I mean, anything that people have questions with from the sales, marketing, sponsorship, working in that sports industry side, it's not a magic pill, but anything that you guys are curious about, feel free to ask that as well.
Yeah, awesome. Right now we'll get to the one question that we have from Courtney. She's back to step number 2 of your 10 steps, and she's interested in finding out what the best way to figure out what you're passionate about. So I don't know if I'm sure she wants to know what you're passionate about too, but I think she's talking about how she can figure out what she's passionate about.
Courtney, that's a good question. I think it's what do you think about? What do you care about? How do you, when you have time doing something that doesn't involve work, what are you gravitating yourself towards? When you're out with your friends or your family, what do you want to talk about? What do you like hearing other stories about? And that's where it starts. Because for me, there's, quite a few different things. I really enjoy talking about traveling. I love traveling the world, meeting people from all over the world. I love talking about the outdoors. I'm a huge nature and hiking person. I love the idea of the new connection world that we're in with internet and marketing, and that I feel like phony businesses are going away, and businesses where people don't actually offer value are going away, and I love talking about that. I love talking, the list goes on and on. And then the question is, from there, what is it that you can do to actually make a living off of that? As much as I could probably do a traveling blog and a website of that, there's some people that do a really darn good job of doing that already. I think I can do building fun, creative, innovative marketing ideas that are passion projects for people better than anyone else. So that's what I stick to. So that's kind of where I would start. Think about just write journal throughout your day. You know, what piques your interest? What keeps you gravitating? What keeps you all in? And start going from there. And actually, not to throw this in, but if you do go to my website, marketingfunwithmike.com, I have both my books there. One of them actually is a book that gives you 10 steps to figure out what your passions are, and then how you can perhaps figure out a way to turn one of them into a career, and the process that you would take to deciding if it really is career worthy or not.
Yeah, that's great advice, and especially like you said, getting educated from a bunch of different platforms, heading out to different blogs and things like that. Our next question comes from Carolyn. She says the sports industry is not the easiest to break into, which is certainly true. So what advice would you have for someone who is trying to break into sports marketing without having the educational background in sports marketing? It looks like Carolyn's background is in journalism, and she's working on an MBA with a marketing concentration, but she doesn't quite have it yet, and she's still trying to break into the industry. So what would you suggest for her?
Probably, Carolyn, just jumping off of what you immediately say, if you're a journalism major and you want to get into sports marketing, then I would start a blog or events in your community based on your journalism background and expertise about sports marketing. If you're a great writer, there's no reason you can't have 2 books underneath your belt before you graduate with a sports marketing degree because of your journalism background. There's no reason that you wouldn't be able to start doing a weekly book club for aspiring business professionals in the area that you live in. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do. My best advice would be figure out exactly what you can do in the marketing world, what you can create on your own, what you can create within your community, whatever community you want to go to, and start doing that before you graduate. So your LinkedIn profile is full, so you have tons of real-world experience before you even graduate.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's the kind of thing that gets you standing out, right? But when you go into an interview with that kind of arsenal, it certainly makes you stick out for an interview. Our next comes from Shirley. She has a question that is related to the continuous education that you were talking about. She's asking if there are websites or subscriptions that do a good job of synthesizing the latest news in sports business. So maybe some recommendations you can give.
Steve, you could, I mean, the Sports Business Journal does a really good job.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
The advertising age for sports business, if there's some other sites that you think about. I mean, really, if you start, Googling sports marketing and sports business websites, there's a plethora. It just depends on what exactly you want it to come from, like how high and in depth do you want it to be. There's LinkedIn groups. I'm a member of about 10 or 12 different LinkedIn groups with people trading around ideas from all over the world. How serious do you want it to be? What specialization do you want it to be? But it really is at your beck and call. But those couple that jump out to me. Steve, you have any to add?
Yeah, I mean, that's good for as far as the subscriptions and stuff. Like if you're looking for a broader type thing, there's a Feedly is kind of an aggregate. It just pulls all the news together for a certain keyword. So if you just go ahead and Google Feedly, then you can find it, and it's pretty simple to use. It just tell you how to use it. You can put in a keyword like sports business, for instance, and it'll aggregate all the articles together in one feed, and you can just scroll through them and click on the ones you don't, and not click on the ones you don't like. So that's kind of just a way to pull all the articles together from the internet.
Yeah, I think that's a great way. I use Feedly too to save the favorite blogs and websites that I'm reading about. And even I know if you have a business focus, but just from a marketing side, a couple that I read from Strictly Marketing: Seth Godin, Tim Ferriss, Bernadette Jiwa. She's actually from Australia. She does the art of storytelling. Unbelievable stuff these people put out each and every day.
Yeah, I agree completely. Steve has a question. This is our Australian friend. He's asking if he can tell us more about a personal brand and building it, which is a little bit of a broad question. Maybe maybe Steve you want Steve to be a little bit more specific, but just in general, he's wondering about building a personal brand, and
Yes.
maybe a tip that you can give to build one.
Steve, really, a personal brand is just an extension of who you are. Um, my name is Mike Rudd. My personal brand is Marketing Fun with Mike. The Marketing Fun with Mike personal brand involves me doing fun, goofy marketing ideas and campaigns on both social media and in the real world for my clients. It involves my hot dog stand theory that everyone has a hot dog stand in their life that's a passion or calling for what they believe in. And it's really just an extension of who I am. And what it does is it hopefully separates me from all the other people out there who are just doing marketing or sales in some capacity. And it really has helped me at the radio station that I work at and out there in the sports marketing world put a different twist and a different spin on what I do. People reach out to me now for marketing platform ideas, a few more than I really need to for anything related to hot dogs, but I brought that on myself, I guess. So that's really what a personal brand is, though. A couple other examples of that would be Chris Gilaboo has created a wonderful personal brand. He lives out in Portland, Oregon, about living a life of nonconformity, where you can live whatever you want to do. A friend of mine, Don the Idea Guy, he's here in Columbus. He has built a personal brand around ideas. When you kind of think about it, I guess the athletes out there each and every day in which they do. I think Kevin Durant for Oklahoma City Thunder has built a wonderful personal brand on being a pretty likable, laid back guy who really cares about the community that he's trying to serve. And when you see that more and more, you'll start to just pick up on it. But it's really just an extension of who you are, and it's a separation point, a story that you have in your life, and a specialization that you think you can offer value of that differentiates yourself from the rest of the world.
Absolutely, can't say it better myself. Carolyn said, "Great advice and thank you." She's working on a blog, so you guys were on the same page there, so that's always good. Our next question comes from Corey. He's currently a bioengineer who constantly dreams about a career in sports while at work. See, everybody thinks about working in sports, no matter where you are. But his question is, does he need to go back to school to enter a career in sports journalism, or would it be possible to catch someone's ear with his writing ability, passion for sports, and creativity without having to go back to school?
That's a $1 million question, man. you know, conventional wisdom would say go back to school and do that, but I do not have a journalism background. I've written 2 books. I write for websites. I also do not make $1 million a year writing books, and I don't think anybody left in this world is ever going to be able to do that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Quite honestly, I think the best way to do it is put out feelers. Start writing on your own first, then start seeing if you can write for some sites, coming up with good pitches and good value and good ideas. And if you can start doing it and start gaining some exposure and awareness and attention for the value you're offering and what you're writing about without having to go back to school and get any degree in it, then great. A lot of the websites out there now, they don't care if you have a journalism background or not. What they care about is, can you write relevant, valuable content that their readers care about? And if you can do that, then you're golden. It's a little easier said than done, but I think there's no harm in putting out feelers and seeing where you get first.
Yeah, and I think the beauty of the internet age is that pretty much anybody can be a journalist and have their own blog, especially if you have the passion, like you said, Corey. And if you're good at it, I mean, it's like a double-edged sword. If anybody can be it, then there's a lot of junk out there. But if you're good at it, then you can definitely be noticed. And that's the idea of the beauty of the internet in these days. Shirley had a question about the aggregate site or the site collector that we use. It's Feedly, Feedly. Just some quick cleaning up there. Our next question will come from Mark. He said he loved the webinar and he joined the Sports Exec today. So thanks, Mark, for joining. Hopefully you were got our deal. And he's originally from Ireland. He's got an international sports and recreation experience and just completed his master's in the U.S., which is always good. He's asking for advice for trying to get into the U.S. sports industry without having a network built up. His network, I guess, is in Ireland, and he's still looking for one in the United States, and he's finding it challenging to build a network. So what the best way, maybe one of the best ways to do that?
I guess it would probably depend on what your specialization is, what your background is, what kind of, is it a team you want to work for? Is it an agency? And I think from there you can start building relationships on LinkedIn, through other social media sites, and then finding out a way. A connection on LinkedIn is great, or following somebody else on Twitter, but it really doesn't become a connection or a relationship until you take that next step. So you actually have a conversation. Then you turn it into like a face-to-face meeting, or a Skype call, or an email, returning emails back and forth and actually talking. But there's definitely ways you can build your network. But I get, if you want to write in a little bit more information on like what specialization you're trying to go towards, we might be able to offer a little bit more advice on that. So, and congrats on getting the MBA, and I'm sure if you start building that network each and every day, it'll start working.
Yeah, absolutely. There's definitely ways out there, like Mike said, to build that online presence. So our next question is going to come from Denise. She works for an online sports website in marketing and advertisement sales. The site already has affiliations with Fox Sports and Yardbarker. But what other avenues could she use to generate more revenue besides Google, social media, and online marketing companies? So she's looking for some maybe some more creative ways to bring in some sales.
Well, I would think about every single billboard you see outside of a sporting arena. When you're watching a basketball game, the thing that's rolling through, when you're at a game, everybody who's doing live in-kind stuff. If you're a national website, anybody who does national sports TV, radio, print, advertising, those are all opportunities. In-stadium stuff, agencies, people that are looking to hire people in the sports marketing world. There's a lot of different avenues you can take for that. But anything in the sports world, just start looking at and taking note of, because I do the same exact thing that you do, just with the radio station and digital marketing. And those are all potential leads. Now, sometimes you got to talk to 10 of them to even get a meeting for one, but if you keep and come up with great ideas for all of them and how your website can help benefit them, then you'll be able to find them.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with that 100%. Shirley says she really appreciates the webinars and she's going to be joining the SEA. So we appreciate that, Shirley, and we look forward to seeing you in there and networking with you. David tells Corey to have faith in himself, so we certainly have faith in you, Corey. So just get started and start working on it. Addy has a tough one. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to answer this one for him, but it's actually the last question we have here. So feel free to keep asking questions, and we'll keep answering. We got a couple minutes still here, but Addy wants to. His goal is to bring players from Africa to college in MLS. He wants to be a soccer agent. So he's looking for advice on maybe bringing players from Africa to the college ranks in the MLS. I don't know if maybe that could have something to do with sponsorship or anything like that. If we have any kind of outside the box advice for him with that question.
Yeah, I don't have a ton of expertise in that area. It sounds like a great idea, though, and I'd commend you for trying to do something that's going to be a game changer. I would say, from a sponsorship side, can you find a company? Can you find a advocate in America in the MLS that wants to be known for helping great soccer players from Africa come over and play in the MLS? And then from there, can you have the means to getting them over here? Can you do a collaboration with the MLS? Could you do a collaboration with a specific team in the MLS that might be interested in that? Those are kind of my first ideas. If you're going to be that specific in what you're doing, that's what you create your whole personal brand around as well. Is you're an expert sports agent that helps great soccer players from Africa come achieve their dreams in the MLS. And this is how you do it, and these are ways to do it. But that's your story.
And it's a great story to hinge on too, I would think, trying to bring kids over from Africa to the MLS. So it's definitely something to build off of. Courtney and Denise just want to tell us thank you for having the webinar, and we always want to thank people for coming on with us, and because the webinars aren't possible without having people listening to them. So we of course always appreciate people coming on. We have another question from Corey, a follow-up to his blogging. He's asking what a good blogging platform to launch a blog on is. So do you have I need to appreciate some advice on gaining initial readers or followers. So wherever you think is the best blogging platform is, and to gain some following, I would think.
Corey, right now I use Joomla off of my website, which Joomla. It's more of a website platform. I find it pretty easy. If you're just starting a blog, though, Tumblr I think is the easiest one to use. WordPress and Squarespace also have good sites. They're a little quirky at first, though, if you're unfamiliar with the website tech end of things. Tumblr, you can just get on there and start writing 20 minutes after you open something. In terms of getting an audience, view it as one person at a time, one reader. Find out exactly who you want to reach, who you want to help, figure out where they're hanging out at, how you can get in there in a non-spammy way. Can you comment on other people's blogs with value, and then people start to notice and link back to your site? Can you start guest blogging and returning, having people guest blog on your site? Do you already know people that might have an interest in what you're going to write? And it's just one person at a time and one reader at a time. Have a call to action on your site, though, as well, that will help keep them wanting to come back for more and more.
Absolutely. And we've ran low on the questions, so if anybody has any more questions, please feel free to send them in. David did say great job, and he will be joining. So again, we look forward to seeing you in there, David, and look forward to networking with you in our SCA. And if anybody else has any other questions, then please feel free to ask them now. We still have a couple minutes left. If not, we'll be wrapping this up a little bit early, which is always good as well. I know Sharknado 2 starts at 9 o'clock on Sci-Fi, so that's probably where everybody's going.
I gotta go, man.
Yeah.
If you guys do have any other questions, though, after this that you think of, feel free to email me. My email's right there, mike@marketingfunwithmike.com, or you can email Steve at reply to the email that he sent you about this webinar.
Yeah, absolutely. That's you can hit me there, or my personal email for Sports Networker is steve.richards@sportsnetworker.com. You can also feel free to email me there with any questions too. And like I said, the COO of Sports Networker and the SEA. So if you have any technical type questions about signing up for the SEA or anything involving Sports Networker, feel free to to email me as well about those things. Looks
Great
like
stuff, man.
we've hit the end of the road here, but we appreciate all the questions. We got a good volume of questions tonight. So looks like we've hit the end of the road, but we appreciate everybody being on and joining us for the evening.
Yeah, thanks again, everybody. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. And go ahead and sign up, and we'll get you your 1 hour consultation session with Mike, and we'll get you the $997 deal for 30 days, and we'll be ready to go, and you'll be ready to take ownership of your career. So I'm excited to see everybody in here and see the progress that we make.
Awesome. Thanks again, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely, Mike. Thank you, man. Appreciate it always. We'll talk
See
soon,
everybody.
guys.